Hi guys, I just want to show you my setup of the Brewtools B80 brewing machine. There's a very narrow space here, but it works for me. It's a washing machine and everything. Excuse my bad English, people, but hopefully you will understand what I'm saying. I'm running a 5-valve setup. I'll show you. This is the sparge water tank, 30 liters of fresh water, normally 80 degrees. It's connected directly to the first 3-valve on the right side of the machine. I have divided the cold water into 2 outlets. The first one, I'm just a long hose hanging ready, which I use for filling water on the machine and the sparge water tank, and also for cleaning and everything else. Just hang it there to be available. The other outlet is for the cooler. And the cooler I have placed beneath the machine, and the water is connected to the cooler so that it runs the opposite way of the worth of the beer. And you can see the connections going into the sides of the cooler. When it comes out again, it's the lower hose on the wall. It's going directly to the drain, which you can see there. The big hose is of course drain from the machine. Sorry for me talking in the background, but that's just the way it is. I have a hoisting mechanism to be able to hoist the grain basket. It's quite heavy, and I'm a sailor, so I'm using sailboat equipment. This is a clamp on top, which I can release just by pulling it, and then when I pull it back in a downward angle, it goes into the clamp again and fastens. I also have a suction ventilation system, which just hangs on the wall when I'm not using it, and then I attach it and hang it up in the hoisting mechanism while boiling. Here's the fan on the outside. So when I start, the first valve is of course connected to the suction on the inside, and I have a temperature sensor connected. So that's the temperature for the pump in the program. So here is the suction piece, which I can adjust from the outside with this little pin. And during circulation and meshing, I make sure that one is pointing upwards. That way I ensure that I never pump too much out so that the heating elements run dry and burn. I adjust it down when I'm finished boiling and taking the beer out. So the beer runs through that valve into the hose, down to the pump, which is under the machine, which you cannot see. And this is the 3-way valve, and I have an explanation glued up on the wall. In one position, I just pump out through the suction piece, through the valve, through the pump, and right out on the left side of the machine. Next position, I can pump up to the center pipe for sparging, or I can drain from the center and straight out, or I can drain and pump at the same time. So in the beginning, I have it set like that. I pump it out, the beer out. It goes through the pump, comes out on this side through this glass, which is nice. Then I can see the color and clarity of the wort through the first valve. Don't mind the positions of the valves here because that's not an issue now. It goes up through this bypass, through the first, the second valve, the third valve, and into the machine again, making a nice whirlpool, making sure the elements are not burning with the grains and circulating. When the mashing is finished and I want to start cooling the beer, I use the same setup on the three-way valve on the side, the same way through the pump, comes out the same place, but then I would adjust the valves so it doesn't go up the bypass, but instead flows down to the cooler. So as you can see, it's connected to the cooler, running the opposite way of the cooling water. Out of the cooler, connected on the back side, and I can then run it in to the tank again. Also running whirlpool while cooling. Then, after I'm finished with everything, I use this position. I screw out the center pipe and drains everything out the same way through those two valves, right through the other one, and directly to drain. The hose you saw a little while ago. Before I drain everything, I have to, of course, take care of the cooled beer. It goes through the cooler, through there, and out to that little piece of hose, which I then use to fill the fermentation canisters. And at the end here, I will just add a small animation that I did in SketchUp, just for training and fun. Thank you for watching, guys.